And welcome to the last presentation for today, and I guarantee it will be worth it. This presentation is from one of our partner communities, the town of Lebanon, and this presentation is going to thread together all of the themes we've heard so far during the grant management workshop. And we chose this because the town of Lebanon really understands their why, and they have stayed committed to their why. And they are going to share with you what can happen if you know your why, you stay committed to your why, and you remember your why when you get bogged down working with the government, because sometimes we can be a little slow. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Shane Farmer. He is the Director of Parks and Recreation for the town of Lebanon. And before he assumed this position, he worked as a planner for the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission. So he has experience from multiple sides of grant management with CDBG and ARC funding. And then I would also like to introduce Mayor Tony Doty, who has been the leader of all of these initiatives since they started about 10 years ago. So Shane and Mayor, it's up to you. And I will keep an eye on the chat for any questions or comments that may come through.
Mayor, you want to speak first?
Well, good morning, or I guess it's still morning barely. It's good to be a part of this event here today. It has been a journey, and I think one of the things that we have learned throughout the process is that this is an ongoing journey. You get to see things happen that you want to happen and come to fruition, but you have to remain committed to continue your ultimate goals. So the funding to get us to where we are today was absolutely essential. We could not have done, or I don't think we would be where we are today without the funding and the guidance that we received from your folks and your office, both at the state, Richmond area level and our local level. Shane has worked very hard and very diligently. We were fortunate that he was a planner before, so he was able to answer some questions and get us started without a whole lot of education, which helped us. And our governing body is committed to our downtown projects. And if you're down this way, the best thing I can tell you is I know where we started and I know where we are now, and it's majorly different. And our citizens and community have become excited and very participant in our businesses. It's amazing what a facelift will do for a business and their commitment to being productive in the town of Lebanon. So again, thank you all for what all you have done to help us get to this point. And who knows, we may be coming back to you to continue another project. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Shane.
All right, thanks for having us. And I'm just sort of hitting the high spots. Kathy had asked me to put together something, and this is what I've done. And like I say, I've just sort of hit the high spots, but I think I've covered everything that we've sort of gone through here at the town of Lebanon. And I called it a journey from 2014 to today, basically 2024. So, you know, it's not a slow process. We've had some things that happen quickly, and we've had some things that's happened slowly. And that's just the nature of the beast when you're doing. We've done quite a bit of work. So with all the work that we've done, it seems like a long time, but really and truly, it's gone faster than you think. We always want it to go faster than it does, but it's truly been, you know, I feel like it's been a blessing to me and our whole community. So, you know, this is, I mean, it's a major change from what was Lebanon to what is Lebanon today. So, but you can skip to that next slide if you want to. The process started back in 2014. You know, the town reached out. Like Kathy had said, I worked at the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission for 23 years. The town had reached out and said, we want to try to do one of these downtown revitalizations. The project became mine while I was there. We applied for a planning grant, and we submitted that, and it got funded in 2015. In that planning grant, we did a lot of stuff. We created a lot of stuff that we still use today. We created a master plan out of that. We created just a whole bunch of different documents, and we'll hit those in a minute as well. But that was part of the process, was that planning grant. Everybody usually tries to start with that planning grant and get that funded, so you can see what you need to do in order to get your funding lined up and what needs to happen in your downtown area. Then the next process was the full application process submitted in 2016, which it didn't get funded. So we didn't quit. We stayed at it. One of the main reasons that didn't get sort of funded that time, I feel like, was we included the theater in that block grant part. And that was the purchasing of the theater. That was, the whole remodel of the theater and all that. And I think that was a big, to do to go along with all of the downtown revitalization. So I think that was one of the main reasons why it got kicked that year. So the next year we turned right around and applied again. We did leave the theater part out of that, except for the facade and the marquee. And in 2017, it was funded. Like I say, it's a process. It takes a little time. You stick with it, and good things come. I can say now that the downtown project is closed out in 2022. So we started that thing with the application in 17 and wrapped it up in 2022. Again, that was right in the middle of COVID time too. So you got to imagine all the hiccups and stuff that everybody went through during that time. We went through those same things. So, it was a longer process than normal sometimes. And, again, it was the time of the season that we were in, and the COVID time that we were in. So the process took a little bit longer than normally would have, probably, just because of materials for, finding workers, finding contractors, stuff like that. So, that whole process, slowed quite a bit, and everybody knows that. So it's nothing new that I'm telling you. Then, the theater rehabilitation construction, it started in 2019 as well, and went through 2024. We finally opened the doors and are operating that. We opened in September 23 of 2023, and it's been a process as well. And you all been in that with us as well, because we had ARC funding in that and all that. So that's just some of the highlights and some of the journey that we've been on since 2014. You can go to that next slide. And I call this one Things to Go and Grow On. These are, again, some of those things, like I talked about, that we got out of the planning grant, out of the applications, all the stuff that we did. These are some of the things that we got. We had we started everything off with our community vision sessions, which we had a lot of folks come to that. And we were really grateful that folks came out to that. Our first one we had about 32, and we went at anywhere from 32 to 40 people at those sessions. So, that was a lot of good feedback that we got. And, we created a document out of all those sessions and everything, and put it together to help with our planning grant and all that. So we created our first management team, which went through the whole entire downtown project, the planning process, the actual funding of the project, and all that. It was made up of town residents, town business owners, and Lebanon High School students and council members, which all of them, meant a great deal to us, and did various things throughout that process of being on the subcommittees and all that too. You know, and we did have our high school students. We had a male and a female. We wanted representatives from our high school. They helped us a ton by getting, you know, surveys out to the public, surveys out to the schools, surveys out to the businesses, and those consumer surveys, they were huge on building our master plan, on on what everybody wanted in our communities and wanted to see in the town, and you know, we created, and there we created that physical inventory survey for the downtown, which that was every structure in downtown. We even put the monument on there. You know, it's part of downtown, so we listed everything on that document, and we still have that document today, and try to keep it updated on, you know, stuff that's moved in and stuff that's moved out, or you know, stuff that doesn't remain vacant, stuff like that. So that was what we used to start our facade improvements and all that. So, you know, we still have that it's ongoing today. So we still have that document as well. Those community interest surveys that I just spoke about to you, that the high schoolers really helped us get out. You know, we put those in the Lebanon News. We put those, you know, basically at Lebanon High School, and we ended up with probably more, it was more than 400 responses, and we did 2 major employers here in town too as well, CGI and AT&T Wireless. So we got a lot of response of what folks were wanting to see in the town of Lebanon. And also we did an economic restructuring plan. All of that came out of those first vision sessions. And we talked about PERs and PARs. I'm sure y'all know what those are. We created both of those, and those are still in action today as well. We've got those on file and still go back to those and use those as well. The downtown 10-year master plan, that was a big document, and it was completed as part of the planning grant. And in that 10-year master plan, I can definitely tell you that just about everything in it was done in 5 years. The town really got on the ball and listened to what folks wanted, and you know, that's a tribute to the council at the time and the council currently, and the mayor, and they listened to the citizens and they jumped right on it. We've ended up with a community recreation center. The town had never had a recreation center. We've got that now. It's been open 4 years now, and you know, it's been a great asset to the town. It's used daily. It's used. I mean, basically only day it's closed is for Christmas and New Year's. So that's been a big, huge development in the town of Lebanon, and you know, that was a big thing that was on the surveys that folks wanted, was recreation center and community center. And then you know, we created green space downtown. We've got a park downtown called the Old Mill Park. That was creating more space in downtown for gatherings and stuff like that. And it's a great little park. It's got a gazebo on it. It's got more grass and stuff than anything. So it's, you know, it's an outdoor park. It's great. The theater was on that list as well, and it's finished and done. And like I say, we did a lot of that in 5 years instead of 10 years. So, you know, the town is always ongoing and creating more things to do and adding to the list of the 10-year master plan. So that's an ongoing process. Like I say, the revitalizing of the Russell was part of that, and we got a theater impact study out of that. It's another big document that we have and we use, and we try to go by. And you know, we got all that. All those things were big pluses that the town got and can actually put hands on and look at and go to when, you know, they have questions or anything like that. I've even had folks, Galax just reached out to me and asked me if I could share that document with them, and I sent them a whole copy of the document to them. So, you know, I try to help out whoever wants to call me and ask me about doing the theater, doing, Parks and Rec, doing grant writing. That's what I did for 23 years. So, I try to help out whoever calls and whoever asks. So, and then that next page, that's just some of the photos. The next, and it's just some of the photos of all those documents that I just talked about. And that one in the middle is the actual application that got funded. You can see, and I've got it here in front of me as well. It's a huge document. It's got almost all that stuff inside that. So you can see and these are things we still have today, we still use today. So, you always have something you can go back to and lean on and say, well, what we say in here? I even get some verbiage for, if we do a commercial, if we do an ad or something, I always go back and get some verbiage out of, our master plan or the Russell's Revitalization. So, I mean, there's a lot of great information that's in there, that the journey that we started and we finished, and it's ongoing. So that next slide, that just, these are the elements of the downtown revitalization. We did, and a lot of you all, I'm sure, have gone through downtown revitalization, so this is nothing new to you. But we did our streetscapes here in downtown with some new sidewalks, some new street lighting, great street lighting. We got new handrails and new stone walls in our downtown area. We did business facade improvements. I think we did 22 businesses in our downtown that received those funds, and got some upgrades to the facades. So it was, and they were great folks to work with, and they're still, I think, really tickled today even that they went through that process with us and did the 50-50 match. And it was a great thing for our downtown area. We removed almost every bit of the slum and blight that we wanted to address, and that was a big key factor of getting funded. I feel like is, at the time we had a lot of vacant stuff. We had a lot of, even the building we're in right now, the theater, it was part of the blight, and we've addressed, we've tried to address everything that we could in downtown. And if you come through downtown now and you came to it before then, you can really tell what I'm talking about. We created green space. Like I said, the Old Mill Parks down there, we created some green space. We started upper story housing. We really wanted to get that. It ended up being that the folks that own the apartments and own the properties, some of them wanted to do it, and then some of them just sort of backed out. So it was one of those things. We really pushed it. We really wanted it. And I think I still think it would have been a great, endeavor to do that. We had about 4, maybe 5 apartments that we could have done that were upper story apartments, and one was actually a lower story. But we tried. We did not complete that item, which, as you go through these process of a block grant, everything's not going to go your way. It's the nature of the beast again. You try, you have the goal of doing it, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. And that small business loan, we had a couple people apply, but they ended up not wanting to take it. So that was another part of our downtown revitalization, that they didn't want to, do the loan pool. The businesses didn't. We still offer. The town, that was during COVID and stuff too. So the town, they had some funds that they did give businesses during that time. Actually, two rounds of funding for our businesses, and I think about 20 some, maybe more, took advantage of that as well. So it wasn't that we didn't want to help our businesses take those small loans. We pushed it. We wanted them to take it, but in the end, they didn't use that as well. So again, that's just one of those processes that you have the goal to do it, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So you have to change up and switch gears and figure out what you can do with it. And one of those things we did do with that was we improved the stormwater runoff in the downtown area, where we couldn't use those funds. DHCD let us relocate those to, we basically had a huge rain one day and we had some flooding in the downtown, right, and flooded right into the neighborhood. And they allowed us to use those to upgrade that area and put in some new drainage. And now we have, that process doesn't happen anymore. Big rains come and the water just flows right through down to the creek. So, you know, that was a big improvement as well. And then again, rehabilitate and reopen the historic Russell Theater. So, I mean, and like I say, those elements, we got all those done basically in 10 years. It's like I say, it's been a blessing to our community and our town, and we've got a lot of you know, great assets in our town now. And you can go to that next slide. And this was just friends along the way. You know, this was our grant funding, our local investment, our private investment. You know, I won't read all those to you, but because you can see those, but we had a total of, I mean, and we probably had more than that in it actually, but what I could come up with was we had $4,116,000 in our downtown area for all these improvements and all these documents and everything that we got done. You know, that we couldn't have done it without all these friends and all these, you know, funding agencies, the local investment. You know, the town prided themselves on making sure we got this thing done, got every component done. And, you know, if they needed to put some skin in the game, they always put the skin in the game and still are today. The budgets are set up for Parks and Rec, for our parks. The budget's set up for the Russell Theater to make sure we get it funded and make sure we have, you know, a great opportunity to have things in our community. And
Shane, let me interrupt. I think
Okay.
that's an important point for those who are seeking funding. We've been fortunate, as Shane said, we've worked together. That local at $1.2 million there, that's the town. In addition, I mean, we bought the theater, we bought the property next to it, but you have to have a plan to move forward at the end of the cycle. There has to be a consistent, you need to have a source of committed investment to maintain what you've completed. So that I think we understood that when we were going through the process. Shane had talked to us about the in-kind requirements, but we've come to learn for you to have continued success and be able to offer things and improve your community. The long and the short of it, at the end of the funding, you still have to have funds to continue. So it's become, as Shane just said, the town is part of these endeavors are part of our budget. So I think that's an important thing to remember. You may get the grant, and when you get the grant, you finish your project, but what do you do moving forward? You have to be able to have some support to continue your projects.
yeah, that's great to reiterate there, because, you know, folks do these projects and go through all of them, and then they get to the finished product, and a year out, they're like, okay, now what do we do? And I can literally say here in the town of Lebanon, there's money put aside to keep up everything that we've done and to keep operating the Russell Theater, to keep operating all of our parks, and, you know, all of our upgrades that we've done even in our parks and the downtown. They even stretched the downtown lighting. The downtown lighting now goes all the way down to the town hall. It did stop in downtown, and the town basically footed the bill for that as well, and extended all the street lighting that we had and extended it all the way down. Basically, it's full downtown now. So from the second red light you come to in town, all the way down to the bottom of the hill in our downtown district is got the street lighting and the banners, the flags, you know, everything. So the curb appeal is fantastic in the town of Lebanon. It really is.
And I would like to jump in to say, Mayor and Shane, thank you for bringing up the sustainability piece after our investment is out of a project. And I want to connect it back to what Stuart and Deanna shared yesterday in the pre-contract space, the why there, and the programmatic documents. So for a downtown revitalization project or a theater revitalization project, we're going to ask to see that operations plan, your pro forma, like how are you going to sustain the investment once we are out? And it's great that the town of Lebanon, knew that going into these projects, so they were prepared to tell us, well, once your investment is gone, here's how we are going to sustain and make this project last beyond the 20-year compliance period. So thank you for emphasizing that.
Yeah, that's correct. And again, me being at the Cumberland Plateau helped out a lot with that, because I had done projects in the past, and that was one of the things I told the town from day one is, now you got to show sustainability. You got to show that once their funds are gone, what are you going to do with it? So, and I think we created those documents, we created those plans, and we showed what the town was going to do with what they got, and they've done that to date, and I feel like they're going to continue to do that as well. The investment that the town has put in, and I told this to DHCD when I was applying for them, I was like, the town of Lebanon's going to turn $1 million into $2 or $3 million, and that's really what they've done. $1 million in the town of Lebanon has gone a long way, as you can see, and if we would have never got that $1 million, we would have never been where we are today. And just giving them that little kick of, hey, we're here to help, gave them the incentive to say, well, if we can get this $1 million, we might be able to get some more. And we did. I kept writing grants, and you can see those on there. I kept asking for funding, and we kept getting funded. So it's an ongoing process. $1 million, you think it's a lot, but it doesn't really go a long way. So you've got to be able to stretch that $1 million to do the things that you really want to do. And that's one thing that the town, and not everybody can do that. I mean, I'm blessed to work for the town. I'm blessed to live in the town. And I know what they do in order to be able to provide things for the community, which, like I say, you look back 6-7 years ago, all this wasn't going on. And, there wasn't a lot of things going on in our town. And now there's something going on. If not daily, weekly, monthly, there's something going on. So, it's a huge change for our community and the things that the town does. And their next slide there, that's the completed elements there. And again, this is nothing new to you all, but, like I say, we had 21 business facades improved, 6 new businesses. We may be above that now. I was trying to rack my brain and think about new businesses, but I think we may have more than that even now. So, but 6 new businesses in the area. We got like I said, the new street lighting, and our street lighting's got everything on it. We've got power on them, hookups on them. We've got a place for flags. We've got a place for banners. We've got a place for planners. So when we got them, we wanted the Cadillac of street lights, and I feel like we got those. So if you come through downtown, we've got those decorated every season. We did a lot of new
flags or seasonal.
Yeah, the banners. Yeah,
the banners.
And then we got the new stonework and railing throughout the downtown. We try to keep the same, theme all the way through downtown. We couldn't get that historic stone, of course. We'd love to have done that, but historic, worked with us and said, this will suffice, and you can use these. So, we got black metal railing all through town where we needed it, and we got some stone walls that used to just be like concrete, just plain, and we spruced that up too. We've got new shrubs, flowers, and other plantings throughout downtown. We've created green space instead of a concrete median. We've got grass medians with trees and shrubs and hydrangeas, all that in downtown. And it just looks like a great place. The community recreation center again was constructed and is operating. And again, that was another one that's you know, the town funded. That wasn't funded by block grant or grants or anything. So that's another one that the town picked up and did the funding for that project and fund it still today. So
That's over $2 million.
yeah, that was over 2 million there. So, uh, you can look at all those major upgrades to our whole entire town. We've even, like our parks, we've put in new bathrooms with air conditioning and heating. We've redid our basketball courts. We've done a little bit of everything, and we've tried to address anything that we can. And you know, and we do go after those grant dollars. I still write the grants for the town, and we submit those. Anytime I see something out there that I feel like we can get, I usually submit a grant for it. So, an application for it. So, it's an ongoing process, and that next slide will show you just some of the stuff in the downtown and the community center. I mean, that's just sort of just a thrown together, you know, improvements of the whole entire downtown. It's got photos of our rec center. It's got photos of the gym in the rec center. It's got photos of our ballpark. Another check down there from the Cumberland Plateau Forest Group that we're doing a pavilion right beside the theater. So, I mean, you can see we even did a mural there. It's right there in the middle there. And, you know, we've done a little bit of everything that we could with the funding that we received and with the match from the town and private investment. So, as you can see, there's a lot of different pieces there. And, you know, I just wanted to throw those in there.
Shane, we have a question in the chat. What
Okay.
types of activities go on in the community center?
We do anything from we host youth basketball leagues. We have a fitness room where we do exercise classes. There's a picture of it there. We've started back our spin class. So we're doing spin classes now. We do country line dancing. We do just different anything that somebody wants to do. Like somebody said, can we do line dancing in the fitness room? And I said, of course. So we do those classes, and you know, we're open to about anything that anybody wants to do. We're really pretty open to it.
Volleyball league.
Volleyball league. We have a huge volleyball league. We have a co-ed volleyball league. It's probably our most popular league. We play it in November and run it to the end of December. We start in October and run till December. And it's always a great league. We have 10 to 12 teams that join that one. And then we actually have Taekwondo 2 nights a week, Taekwondo classes for kids and adults. So, I mean, it's really, and we have 2 community rooms, which we can open those and use, and those are used every day, every week. And for instance, our pool, we've already booked every every pool party. We've already booked for the summer already. We're not even open yet. So we've got the pool, we've got, like I said, we've got the indoor basketball court. It's full size gymnasium, seats 300. So even some of our private schools that didn't have gyms, they reached out and said, can we play some of our home games there? And so Castlewood Christian, they came and played some games here. There's another little school called the Learning Center. They played all their home games here last year. So, you know, we try to make it a full, and those are not even in our community. And we opened it up to them, and they came and used it. And we didn't even charge them for their games. We just we charged a admission fee and sold concession stands. So, you know, that was a burden off of them that they didn't have to pay. All they had to pay for was officials. So, you know, and you know, it's a great facility. Thank
you.
And then that last, it's basically not the last slide, next to the last. It's just continuing the process beyond 2024. That's just some things that's, you know, the town has worked on and is working on. There's been talk of a dog park. You know, we started that process. We haven't done it yet, but it's still there. That doesn't mean we won't do it. That's just, you know, that's another goal that we can reach, we feel like, at some point, and do that. In the middle there is the historic Russell Theater Park. That's going to be a pavilion and parking and green space again. That's right beside the theater, and it's actually being constructed right now. And it's it's a great little space that we're going to be able to utilize with the theater, just because our theater congregation space is just so small. We needed to do something outside, so it's going to have a roof on it and everything. So it'll provide a space for folks to come when they come to the theater and have an intermission or anything like that. And then we've got signage. That's some more additional signage that the town's planning on doing and stuff like that. And then there's another park. It's an outdoor park that the town's been working on and talking about doing, and we're in the first phases of doing some stuff there with some water runoff and sewer runoff, stuff like that. So, but that's out near the CGI Northrop Grumman. If you're familiar with their technology park, that's a loop around basically the government center out there, the Russell County Government Center. And it's an all outdoor park with trails, and it'll be for bikes, it'll be for walking, it'll be, just a nature park. And then everybody's talking about pickleball, and this is something new that the town has just decided that we're going to look at, providing some pickleball courts. We've got two right now that we did just to see if it was popular, and it's popular. So I think we're going to do something more a little sustainable and more permanent. And it looks like we might try to get 4 courts instead of the 2 that we have now. So, but it's an ongoing process, and I feel like the town has invested so much and they've seen the fruition of what comes from investing, that they want to continue doing that. And I speak that for the council and the mayor, because they're the ones that make those decisions. And it's just like it is a progression. Everybody that's involved really wants to see more happen, and they see what can happen when things go as well as they have. So any questions or comments? And that last page has got our contact information. And I did put on there, please come and visit. We've got the theater, we've got live concerts, we've got movies on the weekends. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in downtown. We got Cedar Fest coming up in June. That's June 7th and 8th. It's a 2-day music event, and it's loaded with talent this year. And the town goes out of their way to really provide for the community and the region, to be honest. And we want folks to start partaking in the stuff that we've got.
Tell them about the movies with the schools.
Oh yeah, we've been showing movies to the schools. Just yesterday, the Lebanon High School or actually all 3 high schools had a contest, and 3 classes won. So 3 classes from each high school, Lebanon High School, Castlewood High School, and Honecker High School, came and watched a movie. Basically, that was their reward for winning whatever contest that was. And so we had about 85 kids in here yesterday that were high schoolers. And so we've been providing that. We've been providing movies to the elementary school. The Lebanon Elementary brought about 170 in here one day and watched Shrek. The middle school came and watched Shrek, and they had about 100 and some too. So it's a community theater. We've reached out to the schools and said, use us, and they've loved using us. We show Christmas movies and the holidays. The kids came to those too as well. So it's a big, huge endeavor to take on, but I feel like it's going to take off pretty soon.
Thank you, Shane. Does anyone have any questions or comments they would like to share?
Kathy,
Chad? Go ahead, Bill.
Kathy, this is Bill Hartley, ARC Program Manager, and I'd just like to kind of follow up and commend Mayor Doty and Shane there for the work they did on the theater project, which ARC funded. But really, as you talk about it, it's all the groundwork. You've laid the vision, you've done the planning documents. So when we got to that project, it was very much easier to implement. And as you pointed out, the sustainability, you had all those pieces together. So, and it complemented the work you've already had done and continue to do. So, it's, as you said, it's all really one kind of big, you have a vision, you have this, Amanda would say, you have your why, and you're just doing it by pieces. And we just had that one little piece with the ARC funding, but because of all the other work, it made it much, much easier to implement. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
And I'll say that ARC piece was a huge piece too, though, because, you know, without that $500,000, we wouldn't be sitting in the building that we're sitting in right now too. And we wouldn't be operating the theater like we are. So, you know, it was a little piece, but it was also a huge piece.
Huge piece.
So we're thankful for that as well. And you know, you came to our little opening bill, and we were glad that all of our funders, most of our funders came to that, and we showed off what we had, and showed off all the bells and whistles, and not just walked you through and gave you a tour. We showed you what a movie would look like. We showed you what music would look like. So, you know, we're excited about it. I think we've got a great little venue, and we've got our website up now, which, you know, I wrote a grant for that as well. So, you know, a lot of the stuff we do, we try to find grant dollars to help fund it. So, but we've got our website up now. It's www.therusselltheater.com. So you all look at our schedule and come visit us, and we've got something going on just about every weekend in the theater. And when school gets out, we'll probably have more stuff during the week as well. So, you know, and that's my project as well. I'm doing Parks and Rec, and I'm doing the theater. So if you ever have any questions about any of them, please just give me a call, and I can talk you through it, or tell you what's going on, or anything.
We have two hands raised, Joanne and Stuart. So Joanne, if you want to go first.
Well, I just want to say that I am very impressed. Same thing some other folks are putting in their comments, but my two takeaways are the time that it took. It took 10 years to develop it to this point. And that shows that you've got to have patience, and you've got to move slowly and methodically and get things done. And, you know, the investment of time is just well worth it, because you all are just beaming with pride, and that's how it's supposed to be. I think our $1 million investment, you know, helped with that. My other takeaway is the investments by the town are so needed and wonderful. And I think it was seeing what was happening and wanting to continue to be a part of the process. So your town, you know, was your best partner, because they just continued to kick in money. You know, whenever there was a shortfall, they would find money from somewhere in their budget. So we applaud the town for being a great partner in this, and just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. And Stuart, you're next.
I just want to commend y'all on thinking about the long-term sustainability in previous work before coming to DHCD and here. So many communities think if you build it, they will come and they will pay for it sustainably, and that is often not the case. You have to have long-term involvement from the locality to sustain these projects. If you think about it, if they would be successful long-term without essentially subsidized assistance, they likely would have been a business. So just realize it's not just a matter of building a facility. It's a matter of being willing to continue your investment and involvement in it. And I commend you all for that. And I know it's a strain on your budget at times, but it sounds like it really delivers to your citizens.
It really does. And that's the truth of build it and they'll come, because, you know, I'm here every day. I work on the schedule. I do everything, and for every show we have, I feel like it should sell out. I feel like our 171 seats should be full, but that's not happening. But you know, it's a growing. You have some growing pains, I'm sure, and you know, it's all new to me running a theater. But you know, I feel like the stuff that we're doing, the stuff that we're investing in, the shows that we're having, we're paying for them, and folks are they're going to come. And I got to keep telling myself that, because it drives me nuts. But because I'm the one that's like, where's everybody? Like for instance, show a movie, it costs me $360. And that's not even a first run movie. That's one that just got released to show. So $360 is what we have to pay for the copyrights to show that film. And if I show it an additional day, it's another $100. So for Saturday, Sunday, which is what we've been doing, we pay $460 per movie. Well, this past weekend, I got the newest Aquaman and thought, well, the kids and everything, they'll come and see that. It's the newest Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. And it just released to Blu-ray and streaming and all that. And for 5 shows all weekend, we showed it 5 times and paid that $460. And we had 10 people all weekend. So, you know, it's tough. It really is. It's
But you get sponsors.
but we do have some sponsors that come in, and like today, the hospital called me and said, we want to sponsor a movie. We actually want to sponsor 2 movies. So May 18th, 18th and 19th that weekend, they're sponsoring a double showing that weekend where we're going to show a kids show first of Kung Fu Panda 4, the newest one, and then we're going to show Oppenheimer in the evening. So, you know, those sponsorships make it so now when I show those 2 movies on the weekend, I can show it for $2 per person. So I'll be able to show those movies that weekend for $2 per person, and you know, they covered the movie cost, so it doesn't hurt. You know, it helps us. So in all of our Christmas movies, we did a Christmas movie a day this past Christmas for a week, and every one of those Christmas movies got picked up. So they were either free or they were $2 per person. So, you know,
Wow.
The community's really, you know, taking hold of what we're trying to do. And, you know, it's a blessing to have the community that we do. And it's amazing, you know, the folks that want to be involved and it's some of us the same folks. We did Christmas Vacation and Cedar Point Realty. They sponsored that, and they're going to do National Lampoon's European Vacation in June, and they're sponsoring that as well. And they want it to be free for everybody, so they give us a little bit more funds, and it's free for everybody to kick off the summer. So we're excited. I feel like those are partners as well. So I call them a partner. Can I call you all a partner? Because you all help me out. You post my posters. You fund us. You sponsor us every once in a while. So I'm calling you a partner. So and you know,
Now we're making a little money. He's not telling you the whole story. He hadn't told you about his concession stands down there.
well, yeah, we do sell concession. We got popcorn, candy, and drinks. We try to make it the old style. We've got the big buckets of popcorn. We've got boxed candy. We got bottled drinks. So yeah, we make some money off of that. And you gotta sustain yourself a little bit. And like I say, and our concerts, they're doing really well. We've got one this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. We've got a really good bluegrass group coming in, and we are a Crooked Road venue as well. So, you know, all those folks, you know, friends along the way, that's another one. They selected us as a venue for the Crooked Road. So, you know, when we do those bluegrass concerts, they help us, you know, to push that out there and get it to the public and stuff like that. So, you know, so VTC, we've got some grants. VTC funded basically our ads. We're getting ready to have a TV commercial for the theater. It should start, I think, this week sometime actually. So be looking for that. But we've done some billboard ads for the theater as well. So I think we're picking up steam, and we've got a great schedule of folks coming in, and we're hoping folks will start coming in and seeing what we got.
And we have 2 more hands raised. We have
Okay.
Amanda and then Elizabeth.
Hey there. So first off, you guys have set a really high bar for anybody that wants to come to CDBG for funding for a downtown project. You may have made yourselves the gold standard. I really appreciate that you have hung in there to get all of this done. It really elevates the notion that if you're starting at ground zero, it's going to take more than a couple years to really see your investment come to fruition. I have a two-part question. So what surprised you as being harder than you expected? And what surprised you as being easier than expected?
Well, probably one of our advantages was Mr. Farmer's experience on grant writing at the Cumber Plateau kind of got us ahead of the game a little bit on, he already knew what was going to be hard and what might be hard, the easiest part. I think what probably surprised us the hardest part would it be maybe the business involvement, getting a part of that grant. Was that very compared to what you thought would get them to jump on board?
I think, we really thought that they would, I'm thinking what he's talking about is the loan pool thing.
Yeah.
We really thought, that some of our business would take part of that loan pool. And like I say, we really wanted that to be available to them and made it available to them. And I went and sat down with several and explained it word for word and what needed to happen and all that. And, I think we got applications from one or two, and then something would happen that they didn't qualify, or they would pull their application or stuff like that. So that was always a little tough. And anytime you don't get to do an element that you really wanted to focus on and wanted to accomplish, that hurts a little bit. But it was good that we could focus those funds to something else in the downtown, just like that stormwater runoff. I mean, that came out of nowhere on us and caused some flooding damage and stuff, and we were able to put some of that funding towards that. So, and I'll say that was one of the things that was the easier part, because we could reuse those, we could still use those funds and didn't get them taken away from us. I think we did have to give some back, but it wasn't because of any fault of ours or the town's. I think it was just because we just couldn't use the funds because of what we earmarked it for or whatever. But
just as everyone that's involved in this, now we, as a small town, we took a lick during COVID.
yes.
I mean, it was, we had to take care of our citizens with water and sewer bills and garbage, and trying to take care of the employees. And we did, this was going on as well. And, I wonder that COVID may have, put people in a position where they couldn't contribute money
Right.
to a loan.
Yeah, and I think that was a lot to do with it. It was right in the middle of that, and a lot of folks did. They were strained too as well, and they were afraid to take on anything at the time, and so that COVID really, and one thing out of that too as well is another element that we wanted as a town is we wanted the gateway. I don't know if some of y'all were with us from the beginning, but we wanted to do a gateway, which was an arch across downtown, and the town decided to take that out just because we didn't feel like putting money towards something like that during a COVID time was pertinent to what needed to be done. Yeah. And that was one thing that the council said, together is, I don't know if we need to be, and we had funds from VDOT from that one too as well. And we just didn't want to spend frivolous money on something that was more for looks than, we would have loved to have it, and we still may do it at some point, but that was something we took out as well. But and I would say construction was probably the hardest, because it did take a little bit longer because of COVID. We had things here in the theater, for instance, the doors, we didn't get the doors for almost 2.5, almost 3 years. Historic had to sign off on those doors. Historic wanted a wood door back, and I pleaded with them and said, if I can find a metal door that looks just like it, and we use the original pulls and all that, can we please do it? And they said, well, you show me what you're going to use, and we'll see. And Historic signed off on that. They signed off on our windows. The thing about our doors was we got our doors in finally, and they dropped them on the truck and broke them.
Had to redo them.
Had to redo them. So we went through that too. So, construction was a big hiccup, and I'm sure it was for anybody that was doing projects at the time. But but Historic, they wanted a wood window back, and I was like, why are we putting wood windows in something that we're going to have to replace and have to keep up? And I said, I have this metal window that has the same grids and everything that the wood window does. It'll open in the middle just like the old ones did, everything. I said, you won't be able to tell it apart. She said, if you can prove that to me, you can do it. And I did, and they let us. So, it's just working with everybody, and they've got their job to do too. And we wanted it to be as sustainable as we could, and having metal doors and metal windows goes a long way, because now we don't have to worry about replacing those and upgrading those, and wood just doesn't last, and they let us do metal. So there's all kinds of little things like that, and but overall I can say it's really been a good process. You want things done tomorrow, and sometimes the council would say, can we not get that done a little quicker? But I was telling them, I was like, this is just how it is. But overall, it was a great project and a great 10 years.
Bill knows that because I called him right regular. I need something, Bill, need approval. And but I mean, everybody that's doing this, I will say, if you want this for your community, it is worth the effort. It is it's time consuming, and maybe, as Mr. Farmer just said, it's not as quick as you want. It's just got to keep your eye on the big eye on the ball of what you really want. But there's no doubt that it has helped improve our community. No doubt about it.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Mayor. We have one more hand raised.
Okay.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just want to a comment and then a question. I just want to add my praises to what you've all accomplished in 10 years. I'm sure some people are saying that sounds like a long time, but when you're dealing with things like construction, what you've accomplished in 10 years is pretty impressive in my books. So, for a lot of our small rural towns, one is the biggest problems they have is the number of kids 18 through, let's say, 22 who are leaving the community because they don't see the community as vibrant and a great place to live and have a family or a place for jobs. And I'm just wondering if are you starting to hear any anecdotal information that because of everything you've accomplished, you're starting to see that the numbers of people not staying starting to decrease?
I can sort of speak to that. Where I run Parks and Rec and the theater, the majority of my staff are teenagers or college students. So really and truly, I don't have a whole lot of turnover. I've got 25 or 26 staff members now, and they both work both the theater and the Parks and Rec. So they work at the rec center, they work at the pool, they work all the parks, and they work out here at the theater. So, and all those kids, even my college kids, they'll come back on their winter breaks or whatever and say, hey, can I work a few hours? And we give them some hours. So even those kids are coming back. And then I've already got kids that are getting ready to finish up here in May that are saying, do I still have my spot this summer? So, that's always a good thing. And, and we feel like, and it seems like there's more and more kids, and, my son, he's in Knoxville, Oak Ridge, and he's probably not going to come back just because of what he's studied and what he's in. But I'm seeing some of his friends and stuff come back here. So, you know, we do have more things for them to do. We do have, you know, we never had concerts like we do now. You know, we've had them sparingly, but we've never had them where we're having at least 2 or 3 a month. So, you know, there is something to do in town. So I'm hoping, you know, you always hope that it brings folks back, and I feel like we're seeing some of that. Yes.
Well, and I'm also on the IDA, and the job opportunities we've been fortunate here in the last 6 months to a year, and that we've been able to announce 3 new industries. And, you know, the jobs are important, but the quality of life to go with it, as you mentioned, is equally important. So certainly we want our young people to stay. And that, you know, that's a constant. That doesn't happen overnight either. You just have to continue to offer. You gotta, you know, if they say they don't have employment, then we need to find them employment. The quality of life here is outstanding. I don't think they have a whole, now they have the outdoor trails and the parks and the mood. I mean, the music, it's all here, and they're enjoying it based on our events that I see them. So,
and 2 of our neighbors here at the theater, right beside us, one's across the road and one's right beside us, are realtors, and both of them have told me that they use the Russell Theater as a selling point for their properties, and they tell them about the Russell Theater and what's going on at the theater. And you know, CGI, they came to me the other day and they said, can we use a mural in our office of the Russell Theater marquee? And I was like, of course you can. So as soon as you go in their main lobby now, they're going to have a mural of the marquee of the Russell Theater. So, you know, it all goes hand in hand. And, you know, the realtors saying that you got something in this small community that you can do goes a long way to attract folks and tell them about our parks, tell them about, you know, the things we have. So, you know, again, it's a partnership with everybody here. If the community doesn't, you know, succeed, it's nobody's fault but our own, because we've got everything that we need to succeed, I feel like.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, thank you. And we had a couple other questions come in the chat. Amanda asked if y'all are available to consult with other localities. And Shane, I think I did hear you say that you will share your story and your contact information with anyone who wants to talk about downtown revitalization or historic theater revitalization.
Yeah, I've been helping Galax a little bit. She's been calling me some because I think they're getting ready to do something else to their theater or something. And I think they're going to actually own the theater. And they were like, how do y'all run it? And all this and all that. And so I just sent her some documents that we created through this process and gave them to her. And I said, you know, go through it and look at it.
Yeah. She just gave you a shout out in the chat, Shane. Jolena said that you've been a great help.
Good. Awesome.
And we have one other question, and this is from Steve from Central Shenandoah PDC. And this is a question directed to DHCD. And unfortunately, we do not at this point have case studies on town successes like Lebanon. But Steve, you've given us a very good suggestion for us to take back and develop a plan to collect those and then post those in a place that's accessible for folks. So thank you for bringing that up. And we are right at time for our session. This has been a very engaging session. Shane, Mayor Doty, thank you both for your time. I want to leave everyone with 3 takeaways for this. One that didn't actually get brought up, but it's important to note, to thread it back to our record keeping session from earlier this morning. You never know when a project is going to get selected for an audit by HUD or ARC. The Russell Theater project has been selected for an audit by ARC. So maintain your files for everything. And we are not concerned because we know the town and Cumberland Plateau PDC have maintained excellent files for this project. So we're going into that feeling very confident. Number 2, it can all start with a planning grant. So don't forget that when you are visioning for your projects. You don't have to jump straight to construction. It can all start with a planning grant. And the third takeaway is visit the town of Lebanon and the Russell Theater. Thank you all for your time and your attention, and I'm going to stop talking so we can break for lunch.